Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE, online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver, back in the studio after a long week in Harrison, Arkansas last week. Tracy, a long but fruitful week for National Park College Nighthawk women's basketball. Coach Eddie Broughton Sr., Coach Deja Turner, the Nighthawks 2 years ago had to cancel their season due to low numbers. They had to shut the door 7 games in, call it quits, hit the recruiting trail. Last year, they bounce back. They start from scratch, a brand new roster, no returners from that canceled season squad. And they do the unthinkable. They come out and they win the NJCAA Region 2 title in dominant fashion. They were the 1 seed pretty much all year long, taking names, strictly business all the way through, took down North Arkansas College on their home court, and then went to Trenton, Missouri, the 9-hour trip north, nearly to the Iowa border. and fell in a heartbreaker to North Central Missouri College. That was a year ago. They were 1 win away from the national tournament. They played in the Central Plains District Tournament Championship, and they went home unhappy.
Yeah, of course.
Great year, but ultimately unhappy. And that started the snowball rolling. That was the first domino to fall, saying, okay, we got a taste of it, but we got to get back to this moment, and we have to get past this moment. Well, one of those steps is in the books. NPC took care of North Arkansas College, deja vu, in the NJCAA Region 2 championship game last Saturday in Harrison. Back-to-back Region 2 titles for Eddie Broughton's squad and this talented group of 7 sophomore women, a great bolstering freshman squad as well. But this time it wasn't as easy. This time, this is a story that was defined by adversity, the loss of teammates, tough competition. In the regular season, North Arkansas College defeated the Nighthawks both times.
Correct.
In the kettle and on the road. But you know the old saying, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And that's exactly what the Nighthawks did, taking down the Lady Pioneers on their home court again.
Mark, I'm going to tell you what's impressive about this. And don't get me wrong, the W is unbelievable and Coach getting it together. But if you look at the big story about it, and like you were talking about, basketball was almost gone. But then last year, I don't know if people realize, if you're listening right now, this is a 2-year program, okay? The team that went last year was not the team that went this year, so to speak. You had some girls, some newbies come in. And then you had to change up style and stuff like that. And we talked to Coach Broughton and stuff. You know, it wasn't the same exact thing. So you had to beef it up again. But the ones that were here last year, that taste, like you said, that taste that they couldn't get out. It was just, it was festering. You know, and you've been there. I've been there when you had it, and it was right there, and the golden ring just slipped away, and then boom.
Yep.
So they came back, and after talking to Coach, the other week, think about this, and you're there on a day-to-day basis, but you could see the work that they put in and how hard, and the determination, and that right there, and the cohesiveness, and like you said, all the different struggles to go through to get to where they are, and it's been tough this year. It's been real tough. You've been there for a lot of it, and you've seen it.
It has been tough for sure. With the Nighthawks falling to North Arkansas College in the regular season, they did not secure the first round bye. They did not secure that 1 game less that they would have to play in the tournament. North Ark got those honors, so NPC had to play and win 3 games to bring the title back home. So they knew going in that they had to make a statement. And that's exactly what they did in the tournament opener last Wednesday against South Arkansas College. NPC did something that no team at National Park College has ever done before. And I'm willing to venture a guess that very few women's basketball collegiate teams in the history of our nation have been able to do. They win 74-19. holding an opponent to just 19 points. It's the fewest points allowed in program history. Defense led the way. If you know this team, defense has led the way for the past 2 seasons. But holding them to just a whopping 19 points was the defensive statement that this team wanted to make. Another record for a record-setting season. We talked about the returners for this squad, and so many of them that were the glue last year, the leading scorers, the biggest playmakers last year, your Kayla and Kyra Garrett's of the world, your Daisy Dollar, they are still there, and they are still impact players. But success on this team and who's the offensive leaders of this team does look different this year. You see names like Landry Richardson and Aaliyah Hollins who have stepped up in big ways. Tequila Williamson, who's really, she shined with 30 points in the championship game, leading the team to victory. Without Williamson, this win doesn't happen. But all of them together. Freshman guard Willa Davis, one of the newcomers out of Frankston, Texas, really stepping up. It was her first time in the collegiate postseason, and she was fearless through and through. NPC taking it down South Ark by a large margin in the semifinal, taking care of business against Phillips Community College. The Ridge Runners, a team that the Nighthawks only beat by 2 points in their previous meeting, NPC comes back and wins it by about 40. And then to the title game. The Nighthawks hit the ground running from the opening tip. I think it's a 5-0 run. Kayla Garrett hits a 3-pointer to start the show. They never looked back. They never trailed in the contest once. And those were some tough shoes to fill because I know they're going into that game. All right, this team's beaten us twice. How do we beat them? How do we take them down? What do we do? A lot of film study, a lot of scouting, a lot of locking in and practice, and really just a lot of just wanting it more.
Yeah, no, gut, just giving it. I mean, and you fall back on those practices. I'm telling you this right now. All those sprints, all those run, ups and downs and everything like that, and then one-on-one because, that's determination, like I said earlier, and getting after it and showing what they really have. And I said, but when you have from the outside looking in, these other teams, when they see what they did to that other team the other night, that right there, oh my God, they oh my gosh, look. We got to play them? Yeah, and you say, well, it was so lopsided, but why'd they keep? That's why you do those kind of things. You play, and I don't think they've got out there with, wanting to just push them that far and make, because when you beat somebody by 60 or 70 points, that's not, but when the other teams look at it, they go, wow.
Yikes.
The wow factor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of teams saw that.
All the while, North Arkansas College is playing on the other
They're
side
right
of the
there.
bracket.
Yeah, they're right there.
They're not winning games by 40, 50, 60 points, So that it's that, like, what are they doing that we're not doing, right? So,
or what have they improved on, too?
Well, that's
the deal right there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And NPC airs it out for everybody to see. Their style is we're defense first. Stop us if you can. If not, we're bringing it home. And that's exactly what they did. They brought home the trophy. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger than last year's trophy, by the way. I had a chance to hold it there. But the trophy is just the first piece of this because now NPC gets the opportunity to do something that's never been done at National Park College. They're going to host the biggest basketball game in the Kettle in Nighthawk history. The Central Plains District Championship is not in Missouri. It's in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
How about that?
And it's at 2 o'clock today.
How about that?
Jefferson College, the Lady Vikings come down. Just like NPC, Jefferson College has the same storyline. They lost to North Central Missouri twice during the regular season. North Central Missouri was the favorite to win the tournament. Jefferson College comes in and pulls off the upset, just like NPC did. Mm-hmm. So these are two underdogs that are facing off one game, winner take all, national tournament on the line today.
Boom. So now let's go back a little bit. Home field. Man, we just talked about this a while ago.
Home court advantage.
We just talked about this.
That's right.
Okay. So this is huge. So right now's the time. If I don't know where you're at, get up off the couch. Get ready. Come on out. Nighthawk Nation needs you right now.
That's right.
And it's going to be a great one. I mean, this is going to be fun. Bring everybody. And there's going to be standing room only.
It's
you know that already.
Yes, I do. I do. We've had phone calls all week about can we buy our tickets early? What we do? This place is going to be jumping, and we wouldn't have it any other way. The national tournament is in Hickory, North Carolina. Ever been there before? I've never been to North Carolina. So
Actually, I've been by there.
I'm sure there's a story for off the air there. 12 hours, one way. You know
Don't
what?
blink.
I don't care. I don't care how far it is one way. NPC wants to get there. This is a team that believes they deserve to be there.
Sure enough.
What an incredible story that continues to develop for this squad. Congratulations to the whole squad. You know, I had a chance to converse with some of the ladies in practice this week, and they're looking up at all the banners in the gym, and they said, okay, we've secured the banner. We're Region 2 champions again. We're going to hang another banner. But they're looking up at that men's national championship banner, which, I might add, is a lot bigger. It is a lot longer. It's a lot more vibrant.
We'll have to see something about
it. It has
that.
The names on
go.
it where the region championships don't. Now it's a question of when are we hanging the banner? It's how big do we want our banner to be?
I like it. I like it. I like it. Hey, you know what? I'd like to see everybody out there this afternoon. I'm just telling you right now.
This will be a big... In my broadcasting career, it's probably the biggest game I've ever announced. I've announced multiple high school state championship games, and those are state championships, and those are big moments. But I think here at this stage, with an opportunity to go to nationals, I mean, I'm going to be locked into my A game, and I promise you, I'm going to be a sharp-dressed man over there at the broadcast table. Oh, yes, I live for moments like this.
We went out and picked it out his place. I mean, you ought to see it. He's going to look marvelous.
Oh, I'm suited up, ready to go.
He's suited. He's
I'm
ready
dressed for success. Book me a ticket to North Carolina, baby. Let's do it.
You got your orange juice?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's IV pump that into my veins. We've got a lot to talk about on our show today. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We'll be right back. This is Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition on 92.9 KVRE.
Second quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, sad news this week. Lou Holtz, who coached 6 major colleges to bowl games and became known as the Great Rebuilder, including reviving a floundering Notre Dame football program, taking the Irish to an unbeaten national championship season in 1988, died this week in his home in Orlando, Florida, at the age of 89. Lou Holtz wasn't just a coach who did TV. He became a fixture in college football media for decades. You know, how you remember Lou Holtz in this moment really kind of depends on which generation that you grew up in. If you remember him as the coach, or if you remember him as the public speaker or the broadcaster afterward, it's really twofold the way that his career evolved there. Legendary on both sides, both on the field and on the mic as well. You know, listeners out there will remember his voice, his cadence, and his personality just as much as his playbooks. Of course, the Lou Holtzisms that he always had, the quick, witty, and memorable one-liners really helped make him a natural on television. And you can make the argument that you can look at the current generation, old and new, of sports broadcasters on TV. Lou Holtz had an impact in some way on pretty much all of them.
I'm telling you right now, he just had a way with words. And what he did was opened up doors with that. And of course, not only at football, like you're talking about, but, you know, you can see some of the sidekicks and anecdotes that he had, even like when he was on Johnny Carson and such. And that just reminds me, and I was fortunate enough to be able to meet the guy a couple of times. Interviewed in front of him after my football career and talked to him. Was almost a Razorback, and just happened to have a couple of guys in front of me that were a little bit better than me. And I thought, you know what, maybe the grass was greener somewhere else or whatever. But it was just wasn't the fit, wasn't the style. But he talked at a level when I was there, and of course at the banquet. He just talked at everybody. He didn't talk down. He didn't say this. And, of course, you know, he was real good at making people laugh when I was there. He always had a joke and stuff like that. But then you see him throughout his successful career, and whether it was at Razorbacks or, you know, of course, Notre Dame with the undefeated season and such like that, he always seemed to have a level of talking to people and making everybody feel welcome. And that was what I think is one of his biggest masterpieces of all. Did he know football? You bet he knew X's and O's. I mean, that's proof with an undefeated season, national championship. And, of course, all the guys that wanted to play for him But when he would go into to talk into people's houses, and back in those days, Mark, now we're talking back in the day, okay, so to speak, you literally, unless it was just an excessive, and I hate to go to this 4 or 5 star or whatever, but if you weren't a top-notch recruit, he would still go to people's houses.
You would go to their door.
He would go to their door and go in there and eat dinner and stuff like that. And it was unbelievable. Some of the stories that I got to share with some of the other players when I was up there doing some of the drills and stuff about how he was just that open. And then later down the road, talking to guys that are still around this area that we now see on other programs and stuff, the Bazes of the world and stuff like that, and which he played for. It was one of those deals where, hey, he was encouraging, and that is always a good word. And still, when you see the coaches these days, I hate to say it, but a lot of them, it's a dollar sign. You didn't see him leave to go to Notre Dame for $1. And I mean, don't get me wrong. He went there because he saw that there was need for improvement. He did that with the Razorbacks, improved them. So everywhere he went, an improvement. So, the dedication that he had, not only to the spirit of football, but the spirit of life, I think you'll see that in stories. And, of course, now there's books on him and such like that. I don't think he ever did a biography or autobiography or anything like that, but I think that you'll see that his legacy will stand forever. You saw his will and determination this year when Arkansas and Notre Dame played. I mean, at first half he had on Arkansas, the second half he had on Notre Dame, and and knowing that he was knocking on heaven's door at that point, and still making it aware that people wanted to see him at this humongous game, and the turnout, of course, just to see him there, that speaks volumes right there, Mark.
You mentioned the revitalization of all these programs. We talk about Notre Dame, we talk about Arkansas. That was just 2 of many. Holtz was known for reviving multiple programs: Arkansas, Minnesota, South Carolina, and over his career, William and Mary, NC State as well. He even had a brief coaching stint in the NFL that one season. It wasn't like a super great season, but I mean, that is still, as a coach, I mean, that is still that's a bucket list item, right? Like to coach in the league, and for the New York Jets that one season, Holtz had a 249, 132 and 7 record over his head coaching career with those 6 schools. We talked about coaching the New York Jets. After retiring from coaching, of course, he worked in television more than a decade with ESPN, but certainly what he did with the Irish stands as his greatest accomplishment. He returned to college football. He coached the Jets and then came back into college football, went to Arkansas in 1977. His first season with the Razorbacks helped cement the perception that he was kind of like a magician at times, getting teams to believe and win. In that 1978 season, Arkansas was number 6 in the nation. They stunned number 2 Oklahoma, 31-6 in the Orange Bowl. Despite Arkansas missing 3 starters who were suspended, they took care of the Oklahoma Sooners' hope for a national championship that year. Holtz was 60, 21, and 2 in 7 seasons at Arkansas. And, still, obviously, as you can tell here in the natural state, still very much liked, very well received. And I think a lot of that goes beyond just the X's and O's on the battlefield like you talked about. This is a family man. He's driven by his faith, service in the community, and the way that he believed in others. He taught young men how to be better fathers, husbands, leaders. He treated others like he wanted to be treated himself. And I think that human side to him is something that really will resonate long after, his passing, and we continue to remember him as both a national figure with his speeches and his quotes and his charitable work, and of course for what he did on the football field as well.
Hey, and you know what? I've even seen to this point right now where of course a lot of it's coming out right now, and they're doing, and I know a lot of sports specialists are doing it like now, but you're seeing a lot of even the younger generation. I mean, there's studies on his offense. And don't get me wrong, he worked both sides, and he worked on the defense and everything. But there was studies, he precisely, especially at Arkansas, the shotgun formation and stuff like that. But the run and shoot off of it and stuff like that are still prominent to this day. But the things that he X and O'd on the board that a lot of other college coaches then tried to imitate and emulate, but didn't have success at. But he's the one that pulled some. He always had some tricks too, man. And I'll never forget that. Of course, like you were just saying in the Orange Bowl, who would have thinks unknown Roland Sales would have racked up 200 and whatever yards it was, and they stunned the crowd and everybody. But if you recall, they had a fake punt on that game also, and so there were so many different things. He had that little sneakiness to him also. And then just as you would think that he was going to go somewhere else, he'd make one of those one-liners that he was famous for, and just then catch you just right in the middle of your sentence and like, okay, I just got caught. Coach just got me, one of those kind of deals. So I think that you're going to see a lot of the younger generation, like these coaches that are coming up, try to, see what he was doing. But I hope if there's one thing of his legacy, I hope that the coaches do. I hope they learn how to look past the dollar and then start talking to the families again and to these kids like they should be talked to, not down to, and then try to make them into men and of course family members and husbands and fathers and stuff like that. Because that was one thing. That was the brief time I had with him. That's what I got the persona from him. I just knew that there was going to be some better players in front of me, and so I chose an easier path. But that's what I got from him. And the one time, then I saw him at the Touchdown Club too, and I didn't get to talk to him then. But the same thing, he just held the presence of everybody. So he'll, of course, history. He's a part of it, no doubt.
And he'll certainly be remembered in a positive light. He had a knack for bringing out the best in you, whoever you were. Maybe you were a student athlete on his football program. Maybe you were somebody that he worked with inside ESPN or on the Mike Greeny shared a story this week about his first interaction with Lou Holtz. And Greeny was about to become a father for the first time. And Lou Holtz stopped him and told him and said, the most important thing you can do as a father is to make sure that you let your kids know how much you love their mother. And he said that was something that he's never forgotten. It's always stayed with him. I actually pulled a few quotes from Lou Holtz that have kind of stuck with me. And no matter how big of a football fan you are as a listener on our show, it's just in general great life advice. His most popular quote is probably, "Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it." And, he's in his younger days, rising up from above adversity, always finding a way to stay motivated. And, life throws you curveballs. You got to find a way to overcome. He said once, it's not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it. Ability is what you're capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do, and attitude determines how well you do it. And another one that I really, really like, never tell your problems to anyone. 20% don't care, and the other 80% are glad that you have them. Cruel world out there.
It is what it is, though,
If that's not the most true, realist statement ever, you talked about it. It feels like right now coaches are driven by the dollar sign. It's not all coaches. That's a general statement, and it's not necessarily fair to make, but it feels that way. You think about, like, if you're back in the classroom and you're reading texts in like a world literature class in college, and you read Shakespeare, for example, and the way that things were written and the way that things were spoken back in the day. Mm-hmm. Compare that to 2026, right? Where kids have Riz and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lost art. It's a lost art. But it doesn't mean, just like vinyl records have made a comeback in a big way, maybe, this type of deep down individualized coaching approach can make a comeback too.
Yeah, and you're right, absolutely right, Mark. I know some coaches this day. I knew coaches back in the day that have, and now I see some. My son is one of them. The kids love him, and it's one of those deals. He's not making bank by no means, but the kids love him. And sure enough, there's ones out there. We see one all the time. Coach Richardson over at Fountain Lake.
Yes,
he's one of those ones right now.
Yes, he is.
The kids love him, and it's not about. He was one of those hometown kids that wanted to come back, and he did it. And of course, there's one thing that combines that all these coaches have in common: the will to win. Mm-hmm. They have that in them. Do they win all the time? No, but they've got that, and they want to instill that in the kids that they coach. And it's one of those deals where look, you may not win all of them, but you're going to give it a heck trying. And that's all you can ask. That's all you can ask anybody. And if coaches and just people in general, in life, if you look at it that way and your cup's always half full, man, that's what it's all about. My mama always used to say it's a lot better to pick somebody up than push them down, and that's the persona that you want, and that's what I think that his legacy, if anything, you see a lot of these. When I saw that 30-30 interview I did on sports, the deal they do on ESPN about him. And some of the guys that still followed him to this day were ones that never even started a play for him. You got 110 kids on the squad, and he knew every one of them, their background, their names, and everything.
Yep.
You're telling that right there tells you his character, and that's the kind of character you want. If you're at some place and you're working, you should know everybody around you. That don't mean you have to know all their kids' names and their dog's name or stuff, but everybody around you, the door should be open, and that's the policy he had. His door was always open.
The man, the myth, the legend, Lou Holtz, passing away at 89 this week, and will be long remembered in the game of college football and in the industry of broadcasting for generations and generations to come. Much more to come on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We've got to talk about some Razorback basketball and UCA, a big week for them in Florida this week. We break it down when we return on 92.9 KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
Tracy, Arkansas Razorbacks basketball has a big game today on the road at Missouri to close the books on the regular season. SEC tournament play right around the corner. But before we can talk about the Tigers, we got to talk about those Texas Longhorns in a big game for the Razorbacks. Darius Acuff Jr. with 28 points and 13 assists. Brazil scored a career-high 28. Number 20 Arkansas took down Texas 105-85 on Wednesday, clinching a double bye into the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. Acuff became the first player in Arkansas history with at least 25 points and 10 assists in a game. He had 19 points and 8 assists by the halftime break. Razorbacks led by 22 at the break, and it was smooth sailing all the way to the finish line. And playing in his final home game, Brazil shot 9 of 11 from the field, adding 7 rebounds. Arkansas looks dangerous right now. They've finally paired elite individual star power with a fully connected and confident team identity. This blowout over Texas didn't just add another win to the schedule. I believe this revealed the version of the Razorbacks that nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to see in the SEC tournament coming up.
And Mark, and what I really thought big about this game was their turnaround. We saw what they did with A&M, and then they had a long road run. Of course, we know what happened in Florida and under a vicious crowd there with the Gators. But what was impressive is what they did after getting beat down. They came back and said, no, this ain't the way it's going to happen. Coach said that he practiced them hard this week because he felt like they needed it. And especially like you were talking about it, senior night and such, and leaving on a big 28 point right there. Think about that. You got 2 players right there you got to have them on a roster right now that's so beat up. You're playing 7. You've got to have the likes of down low, and then of course on the outside in that pocket, and it was all there. Of course, you had the help from the outside, and you know what this game reminded me of a little bit? The old 5 Slamma Jamma, man, because what they had 17 dunks.
Yeah,
and
They put on a show.
Yeah, and especially that last one where he knocked it off the backboard and then he just drilled it. Now, but it did in a way. But it looked like what you were saying, they connected. Everybody was connected. Not all the passing. Of course, he had all those assists, Acuff did. But everybody was in on it. All 7 players, it looked like. And then they did, finally Ceilings off the bench now, the freshman. He's back. His knees, I guess it's better. He was out there on the floor. But it looks like now going into the tournament, I know we got Missouri still today, but going into the tournament, we're going to have 8 and 9 players now instead of just 7. And that's huge. You know what a tournament's like. And of course, we get the bye, though. But then after that, it's go, go, go. You got 3 games. Go, go, go. So you got to do it. And I think what's going to be big on this one here, Mark, too, is I know we had just the one loss up on the hill, but I think the neutral site I think where you don't, and I know there's going to be a lot of fans. Gainesville's just down the road from there. We know that.
Sure.
But the Razorbacks travel well. The fan base does. You know that.
Yes, they do.
It's obvious. And so it's going to be an even, keel as far as fan base. And I think you're absolutely right. You and I have talked about this for 100 years. Who's hot and who's not. And right now, after that game, of course, today with Missouri, now they just beat Missouri at home, so we're going to see what happens.
Yes, they have.
And Missouri's a damn good team.
Yeah.
They're really good, but they have their off nights also. But you know what it's like going to play the Tigers at home. Okay, so we'll see what happens today, but I think they're at that level right now. Now, here's another deal too, Mark. It's coaching. I'm not trying to out-coach anybody. I want to get your thoughts on this. Are they going to go play Missouri and just let it roll and go as much as they can, knowing that they've already got a couple of buys?
No, absolutely not.
They're going to back off a little?
No.
They're going to go 90 miles an hour?
Yeah, they're going to go 90 miles an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to.
Keep it rolling.
You have to here because not only I hate saying this, but honestly, it's true. Not only do the Razorbacks have their own team goals this year, they want to win a natty, right?
Right.
They want to win the whole thing, and they believe that they have the star power and the firepower to upset some people, some top seeds.
If they get the right
tournament.
seeding, you're right.
Yeah, because they're going to be dancing here in a couple weeks. But the other piece too is Coach Cal knows, he may not have knew coming into this season, but he knows that there's a couple players on his team right now that are looking at the NBA draft.
They're gone.
And they're looking very high in the NBA draft. I mean, Darius Acuff Jr. is playing like a top 5 pick in the draft. He is doing things that very few people in this game, I mean, certainly in the Arkansas program, but very few people in this game have been able to. And we're talking about a freshman here. We're talking about the real deal, fresh out of the shrink wrap. 28 points and 13 assists. He's the way that he paces himself. He's got that control, that self-discipline. He's the true offensive engine for this team. We thought it was going to be Brazil coming in, but now he complements Brazil really well, who's peaking at the right time as well. Brazil is healthy, he's confident, and he's able to read those mismatches on the floor and really attack those. It makes this offense really explosive and balanced. We're looking at the most complete version of Arkansas we've seen all season. Why step off the gas now? Why not pedal to the metal? It's all about statements. It's all about seeding. It's all about generating that momentum because right now, I said it before a few minutes ago, I'll say it again, nobody really wants to play against Arkansas in the SEC tournament. Now, you're Florida, the world, yeah, okay, we just beat him. We can probably beat him again. Alabama got him in that double overtime game, sure, but that neutral site, take away your home court advantage.
That's exactly.
You're taking away some of your lifelines there if you're some of those other teams that feel like you have the advantage there.
May not get the calls.
Arkansas did just beat Missouri in 94-86. It wasn't that long ago. Acuff, of course, with I believe he had 20 points in that game. Billy Richmond III had 21 points in that game. Arkansas does this well. We saw it against Texas, 28 here, 28 here. Against Missouri, 21 here, 20 here. They spread the wealth so well. It makes it so hard to guard this team because you lock down one guy. How do you stop both? And they're on opposite ends of the front court. Mm-hmm. How do you stop that? That has been giving opposing defenses fits all year long. I expect that that's going to be the case here on this big game as well. Momentum is everything. Arkansas has to maintain that. They've got to go out and put on a statement because, like you said, on the road, it's their senior day. It's their home court. You can almost make the case for anybody in the SEC on their home. I mean, a home court advantage is a real thing. It's a scary thing whenever you're the road team. Anybody can beat anybody. We've seen it.
Time and time again.
So it's all about going out, continuing to play complete basketball, stay true to your goals, stay true to yourself, go out there and win the day.
Exactly, and I like what you're saying. I'm agreeing with you 110%. Go ahead and roll with it. Go as fast as you can. I mean, and you were right about Acuff. I've been watching now a little bit more on him, whether he does 49 in the double overtime loss or he had 5 in the A&M, then comes back and puts another 20 on or whatever it was in the second half. But he's that same level. I mean, he gets excited every once in a while, but even Coach Cal noted that the other day. He goes, if you can get a grin out of him, he goes, you're getting something. But he's just that same, I mean, almost like robot style. But anyway, I got one for you, Mark. All right. So you're talking about seeding in the big dance, right?
Yeah.
All the way through everywhere and everywhere. And we'll talk about this further before they have the selection, okay? But Oklahoma City, it's in the picture, right?
Mm-hmm. That's it is.
What was last time? What happened the last time we played in Oklahoma City?
Well, we did some pretty great things in Oklahoma City. So, and that is almost not a road trip. It is, but it isn't. You know, it's kind of in your backyard a little bit.
Right.
So,
yeah, 94 was a magical time in Oklahoma City.
that's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And you want to talk about magical times? How about Nolan Richardson, of course?
Yes.
Getting the news that he's going to have a statue erected of him outside of Bud Walton Arena. Well deserved. Long overdue. That 1991 team that took down Texas in that Southwest Conference championship game. And of course, winning the Natty in 1994, a huge accomplishment for him, and just another big addition to Razorback Nation as a whole.
Yeah, and and you're absolutely right, Mark. Well overdue. I mean, he's got the court side. We know the court. It's the court.
I mean, these things do cost money, but
They don't have even much up there.
well, I don't know.
Are we talking about Tyson now?
Well,
is that where we're going?
Well. Yeah, hey. You know, it was time. It was time for major businesses in Arkansas to step up to support.
Yeah. We talked about this 2 weeks ago.
And to be honest, I'm hoping that it's more than just the University of Arkansas. I'm hoping that it's all of our schools in Arkansas.
Well, that'd be nice. I mean, somebody in each one of those areas, whether it's state or central, or UAPB or whatever
From
the case
top
is,
to bottom,
equal ranks.
especially on the basketball court right now. This state is booming.
Yes,
It is absolutely booming.
Yep, and it's been. You're right. I mean, long overdue. As long as it's going in the right direction, what they say it is, as far as the NIL and such like that. You know what? They're getting paid for it, so why not go ahead and get somebody to get recognized? And well, why not Tyson? You know,
Sure.
I'm sure. I don't know if there's another company up there in Northwest Arkansas. I'm not sure what it is. A little bit bigger company.
Come on, man.
But anyway, I'm wondering if they even bid on it or whatever. You know.
Well, hey,
They're too busy in Denver, aren't they? Right
look,
now?
in this whole fundraising landscape, sometimes it takes someone's got to be the first domino.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to be the follower. You want to be the leader. You want to be the one that steps up and says, you know what? I'm going first.
Yeah.
Because then everybody else looks like, we
I
got
call
to
that-
save face.
Yeah, I call that the river crossing.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Okay.
No, you get all those herds of animals in Africa
Yes.
coming to the river.
Yes.
They're scared to go.
Who's going to go?
Who's going first? Wait a minute. And then the one jumps, and then they all just.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
But you know what? I'm going to retro back a little bit, and then talking about you saying basketball's hot right now. Conway, my
Yeah.
goodness, you can't get a ticket now. They're heading down to Florida. Man, I'm telling you what, it was a good game. But no matter how this tournament rolls out, you got to be impressed about how Central Arkansas has stepped up.
Yeah, UCA, the number
congratulations.
1 seed in the ASUN championship tournament. That win over Austin P had magnitudes across the league. And, congratulations on such a great effort so far. Of course, in that final home game, Scottie Pippen made an appearance there as
Yes.
well. He seems like he does all the time these days, too, in his retirement. But this is a team that's red hot right now. They're playing down in Jacksonville, Florida for this tournament. They're really getting some good press and media coverage on ESPN Plus. The championship game will be on ESPN2. We've got local guys, Ty Robinson, who's really impressing on a big stage. I mean, could we see a world where we've seen it with UALR
And we saw it at the convention center.
getting to the big dance?
It was right here at the convention
That's
center
right.
when they won it.
That's right. That's right. Could we see a world where maybe Bear Country makes
Man, that would
March
be-
Madness?
That would be something. Would you make? Yeah, you're a graduate from there.
That's my college alma mater.
Would you have You'd have to go to that game.
I'd have to go.
You'd have to
I'd
go.
have to go.
You got to go.
I'd have to go. Maybe Steve Owens will be gracious to save me a seat in the broadcast table.
Oh snap!
Maybe.
I'll help you buy a ticket.
That was fun.
I'll
Was
help you buy
fun.
a ticket, man.
We still have so much more to come on the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
And we're back. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. Tracy, it's time for our local roundup. There was a big commotion going on at Oaklawn on Sunday. The Rebel Stakes driving around Central Avenue. Good luck last week. the amount of my kids are pointing out all the fancy cars and the Lambos driving down Central Avenue.
Jets coming in too.
The Hot Springs Airport was hustling and bustling as well. There were a lot of big names here in the Spa City here for this race. On a Sunday this year, the Rebel Stakes absolutely delivering a finish by a nose. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, unbelievable. And a lot of questions around the race Sunday. Why? This isn't the Super Bowl. But yeah, in a way, it's not really. It's not the Kentucky Derby. But let's step back a little bit. Last year's event, we were iced under. And so when they came back finally to racing, they had to get this race in because it is a prep for the Kentucky Derby. Well, if not for the Arkansas Derby, of course, but also you get points for this test. I mean, for this race, a lot of points, and you have to earn points to get in the Kentucky Derby. This was worth 42 points, and it was a biggie, so it was a must to run. And they thought, well, it went well last year on a Sunday. Let's try it again. And there was over 30,000 people there, including all the fans that were unregistered, of course. It didn't come through the front gate. But as it is right now, it was one of those ones you want to watch, even if you have nothing to do with racing. It was a beautiful day.
Yes, it was.
The infield was open. Lots of things going on. Bands were playing. Kids were in bouncy houses, the climbing stations and stuff. And it rolled down to that. And of course, I had a real good day. Matter of fact, went 9 out of 12 on the picks, and sure enough, this was one right here for the books. Though when it rolled down to it, there was a couple of them, the favorites here and there, and like you were saying, all the stars coming in. Well, the reason this particular race day is you had all these different jockeys that don't normally hold their tack, which means they don't race always at Oaklawn.
That's
okay,
right. That's right.
Coming in for the big race, the Rebel, $1 million. And you saw the best of the best of the best. And it was just that simple. And whether it was the trainers, the jockeys, or the horses. And this one particular one, class president, he'd shown some improvement, but they didn't know how good he was. And so this was, hey, let's just see how good he is. And of course, the Silent Tactic that he won by a nose by, had already been in 2 previous races here at Oaklawn, and it ran well, won one, come in second in the other, and be honest with you, it was a great race. I mean, one of those deals. In the past, a trainer named Bob Baffert had done real well. He's always used this as a prep race for one of his horses to go to the Kentucky Derby, and he had one coming in that, one of the favorites of the race, Todd Pletcher. We're talking Hall of Famers here. Had something different to say about it. And man, you talk about a race, and like you looked at the picture, was it even a nose? I mean, it was. It was all down to the wire right there.
It was one of the closest calls I think that you'll see at this stage in the sport. Remarkable. Made a lot of people really, really happy, and it probably upset a lot of people as well.
Hello. I had him pick third. I actually had Silent Tactic win it with Litmus, the horse that ran third, coming in second.
Yeah.
And they did 1, 2, 3, just in not the order I had. But you're talking some Hall of Famers. But I'm going to tell you what, the best part about it was a gentleman, class president. They didn't know if he was going to make it or not. He'd had some issues and stuff like that.
Right.
But the owner of Windstar Farm, gentleman, he's 89 years old and was not going to initially make the trip up here. And he said, I don't know if I'll make the Kentucky Derby, but I'm going to make it to Arkansas. And so with all that said and done, he did make it up here and was in the winner's circle. And it was a big to-do for Windstar Farm out of course, they've got one of the biggest, thoroughbred facilities in the world. But it was a big to-do for Todd Pletcher. And now we don't know if he'll be back or not for the Arkansas Derby because you have another big race in Kentucky at the time. But it was one for the ages. Win, lose, or draw, it was one of those ones it's like a race or a football game, the Miracle on Markham or anything of that nature, or whatever, the last pass, the Hail Mary.
Yes.
And because one more jump, Silent Tactic would have taken it. I mean, just one more jump. Now, here's the thing leading up to it. This race is 1 mile and a 16th, okay? You're going to add another 100 yards on it for the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
So these horses coming from out of it, they were catched in the Silent Tactic of the world. You got to look at it that way if you're a handicapper, the extra yards, stuff like that. So a lot of, like you said, a lot of people were happy, a lot of them unsatisfied with it, but I was happy both ways. It was just a great race, and I think that's what Sundays are all about, and it was a Sunday.
Now with these 3 top finishers, Class President and Silent Tactic and Litmus Test, Could we see them again in the Arkansas Derby coming up later this month?
Most definitely you could, but that's what we're talking about right now. They all came out of it okay, which means they're healthy still. But there is another big race. Now, class president is from Florida based, and he primarily goes to Kentucky to run. Churchill Downs is fixing to open up. Obviously, the first Saturday is the Run for the Roses in May. But then you also have a big race coming up in California where Bob Baffert's from and Litmus Test is from. So this is one now. The decisions are going to be made, but they all did real well. So, yes, possibly, it could be something that you might see them back at. More than likely, I would say no. I would think, but I would say Silent Tactic, he's based here. You're definitely going to see him in the Arkansas Derby. But I think that Bob Baffert likes, he may send the big colt back. He's a big, nice-looking colt, but he wants to go long, a lot longer than a mile and 16th. And we'll see, but I think you could. Obviously, there's a chance. It'd be nice to see, something like that. But we'll see what happens. Either or, I just hope for good racing and good weather.
Switching gears, there's been a lot of great basketball going on the local stage here. We've talked about NPC, we've talked about the U of A, we've talked about UCA. How about some high school basketball as well? A few Garland County teams in the state tournament this year on the boys and the girls side, and some of the other teams in our KVRE listening area making big pushes as well. I'm looking at you, Poen Indians out there. Let's start real close to home here. A big congratulations to Landon the Torch Clem.
How about that?
Of Fountain Lake boys basketball. In a dominant victory over Star City in the tournament opener, 60-38, Clem had 30 of those 60 points. 30 points on 10 3-pointers. On a neutral court in the state tournament. Absolutely legendary. Coach Dett's squad continues to impress, whether it's his son Dylan. We talked about the 2,000 points plus, well plus at this point now. This team full of course, some Fountain Lake football stars as well, some Fountain Lake basketball stars. This is a team that I'm really watching closely in the state tournament, doing some really great things. Congratulations. That has to be a record. A huge honor. 10 3-pointers in a game. I'm around college athletes all the time that don't even get close to that.
And Mark, what I was impressed about too was you just like you said, we talked about Dylan,
Yes.
But guess who led an assist in that game? Dylan.
That's right.
And he's averaging 28 points a game, but he led an assist because he was getting doubled down on. In Star City. Now look, Star City, they only had 3 losses. I mean, they were one of the top ranked teams in the state.
Hey, to be at this stage,
so
it's no fluke.
So yeah, and so it was obvious, and just to see it, and how Landon, the kid, he is one of the nicest kids in the world. He doesn't talk a lot, but he did enough talking on the floor.
Made a statement, and it made such a big impact. It created such a shockwave around Garland County. This is a true story. I dropped my kids off in the car rider line at Mountain Pine Thursday morning. And the staff members, the counselor, Brandy Blease, of course, she's a Fountain Lake native herself. She opens up that car door. Did you see that game? Wasn't that incredible? It's making a ripple effect throughout the whole county. It's not just Cobra Country anymore.
No.
It's all of us. At this stage, when you're representing this county and a chance to hoist the trophy in our convention center, we're all Cobra fans. And we're all Lake Hamilton Lady Wolves fans as well.
Man, I tell you.
Desire Kristen is a National Park College Nighthawk commit, by the way. She's going to be playing Nighthawk Blue next year, and I'm super excited for it. Reached the 1,000 career points club in a win over Texarkana earlier in February, and has been instrumental in leading this team. She's the leading scorer, first on the team in assists, top 3 in rebounds, top 2 in steals. She's versatile. She can do it all. And she really helped this Lady Wolf squad get to that 29-1 record, 16-0, perfect conference mark there, and that 1 seed in the state tournament. We talked to Coach Blake Conley on our show a few weeks ago.
Yep.
This girl is the real deal, and I'm super excited to see what she does next. Lake Hamilton also making waves throughout Garland County.
Yeah, and Mark, here we go again. We talk about it all the time. At one point, we feel like one of the teams local here is going to win it all. And we've been right now how many years now?
Yeah.
And so I feel once again that one of our locals in our immediate listening area is going to win state again. And I think our I think our odds are good about it. I think real good about it.
One last thing, congratulations to Champion Christian College. Both the men and women's basketball team awarded at-large bids into the upcoming National Christian College Athletic Association National Tournament. Coming up on Sunday, they came up short in their regional tournament championship games, but their resumes speak for themselves. They will also be representing the Spa City at the national level. Big deal all across, whether it's high school, college, four-year university, junior college or four-year university, something for everybody on the basketball court right now. Arkansas is where it's at.
Mark, hey, I know you're getting ready because something else is coming up. No, your day's today, your big day of calling. But baseball's right around the corner.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'm telling you. And we're going to be talking about the big play they're doing in MLBs right now, of course, the world.
That's right.
And then here, local baseball and softball kicking off. So Stetson with Arkansas today. And that's a forerunner. You know that? They played yesterday, today.
That's right.
And
That's
Sunday
right.
and Monday.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
so
it's a new format. It's a new
baseball's
format.
Run. Hey, good luck to you today, man. Appreciate you. I know you're looking good, dapper, as usual. And everybody come on out and see some great basketball today.
That's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. We're here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. right here on 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver, and we'll see you next week.
Game over.